Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's December the 14th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Today, joined by our two young superstars, Azubi Charles and Stephen Wagner, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by Caneswear, your destination for all your Canes holiday shopping needs, and by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health, and the time is now to continue reeling in recruits from local parts and around the country 7 days before National Signing Day. And that brings me to today, guys. And we're doing the show without Matt. Matt went out on the town last night. He was celebrating his wife's birthday. And I don't know that they got home before like 3 a.m. So I didn't have the heart to wake him up here at 5 to do this show with us. So we're going to have to get it done without him, man. You think we can do it? Zuby, you ready, man?
Most definitely. I'm in the middle right now. I got to take Matt's role in the middle, man. I'm ready.
Let's do this. Steven, you ready?
Heck yeah, I got a Zuby standing between you and me. I think we're good.
All right, let's do it. All right, last night, a big event for the Miami Hurricanes. Reuben Bain commits. And, man, I'll tell you, this is one kid that milked this thing out as long as he could. I mean, this has been, we could have said 9, 10, heck, 20 months ago, Reuben Bain's going to be a Miami Hurricane. His brother's working in the program. His uncle Tolbert played for the program. He grew up in Miami. He's part of the fiber of Miami. If there was a kid in this cycle that was most likely to become a Miami Hurricane, I think it would be Reuben Bain. But, I mean, he went to Alabama a bunch of times. He went to Florida State a bunch of times. I mean, he played this thing out to the very end. I guess he was praying on it in the last hours, making sure he was making the right decision. Azubi, you were with Reuben Bain last night when he made the announcement, I'm going to be a Miami Hurricane. Give us your impressions.
First off, just with the nickname Hurricane Bain, there's no way he's suiting up for another team. So we just got that out the window. But honestly, when he made the announcement, he was real confident. He said he made the decision Sunday following his trip to FSU. He said he FaceTimed Mario Cristobal, and he said Mario Cristobal's face turned red, and he threw his phone across the private jet that he was on. So the Canes staff was extremely happy to get that news of Reuben Bain. He also mentioned his brother was, not pressuring him at all, saying, hey, do what's best for you. And that's something he really took into consideration. He also says Mario Cristobal is like no other coach, out there, how the communication is, how it's just one-to-one communication. You don't have to jump through hoops and, duck this, duck that to get him. It's just, hey, I want to talk to him, I'll talk to him. And one thing he mentioned too is bringing that Miami Central championship mentality from Miami Central to Coral Gables. And he mentioned how him and Wesley at Miami Central did some special stuff, and he's looking to continue that success with that Wesley in Coral Gables in Miami.
So, all right. Of course, his brother didn't pressure him. I mean, his brother, Reggie, he knew that Reuben was coming to Miami the whole time, okay? There's no doubt in my mind about that. There was no reason for him or Uncle Tolbert or anybody else to pressure Reuben, because at the end of the process, he was going to be a Miami Hurricane. I feel so sure of that. But in addition to talking to him privately, you also did a quick interview with him after the announcement. Let me play that right now.
Here with the University of Miami's newest commit, Reuben Bain. Reuben, just how you feeling after that commitment to Miami?
I feel great. I feel like I got a huge weight off my chest. Something I'm looking forward to in the years to come. Just willing to change the program around and bring a natty back to Miami.
And just why Miami? I know you just came off that FSU official visit, a lot of schools after you. Why Miami and Coach Cristobal?
Well, it was something I was thinking of after the trip. Me and my family sat down and talked about it, and we just made it official the next day, coming back from the trip. And we just talked about what's the relationships with coaches, the program I can fit in, how can they move me to be a better player, and they checked all the boxes really, so it was a second to none choices.
And then joining that 2023 class, a lot of dogs in that class. Who are you really excited to play with going into Miami in that class?
Excited to play with and practice against, I'd say Francis. I feel like we're gonna get some real iron on offer. That's what Coach Cristobal preaches to me every day. He always saying iron on iron, iron sharpens iron, and that's what's really gonna make your team better. So getting to go against him in practice every day, I feel like that's gonna bring out the best of both of us.
And then with signing day, early signing day coming up, who's some other guys you want to add to that class to really round out Miami's 2023 class?
Amari Brown, Andy Jean, some local guys. I feel like getting the right local guys is better than getting somebody from out of town.
Perfect. Reuben Bain, congratulations. Thank you.
All right. So I'm watching that, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to, we keep it real on this show. And I'm thinking, okay, when this is going on, Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal are up north in Massachusetts in the home of Samson Okinola, okay? 6'5", 305 pounds, okay? Now, Reuben Bain, Azubi, he lists himself as 6'2", 250, okay? You're right there next to him. I'm looking at the video. To me, he looks like a linebacker, like a middle linebacker or something. I mean, I know he's not going to play middle linebacker at 250, but the point I'm getting at here is I think that there's going to be the first. I mean, he's a great football player. There's no doubting his ability as a football player, but I think that this is going to be similar to, like, I have a buddy who has a racehorse, okay, and they're sitting there. They think he's a good racehorse. He looks like $1 million. And they're trying to figure out, do we run him on the dirt? Do we run him on the synthetic surface? Do we run him on the turf? Do we run him short? Do we run him long? What do we do with this racehorse? Okay, this beautiful looking racehorse. What do we do with him at the racetrack? And I think that there's an analogy there to Reuben Bain. You got this great football player. You turn on his high school tape, and he shows freakish ability, but he's 6'1". And he's 250. And now he's got to go against Samson Okinola. He's got to go against Francis Mauigoa. He's got to go against major Power 5 offensive linemen, Izubi. And and this is going to cross over to Steven too, because Steven and I spent a lot of time looking at Reuben Bain's film yesterday. And we did an analysis of Reuben Bain that's on the website this morning. But I'm starting with you because you were just with him last night. And when you're standing there and you're looking at his frame and his size, can you see, and you're looking at Miami having guys like Nigel E. Kelly, Wayne coming in, Achimapong at 6'7", 260 or whatever coming in. He's going to end up being 290 pounds. Those are what big time college defensive ends are supposed to look like in general. Now, there have been smaller ones that have been great players. So the question I have to you first, since you were just with him last night, when you're looking at his frame, what do you think he is going to be physically capable of playing at the college level?
Yeah, so you mentioned him being 6'1", 6'2". I'm 6'2", and I kind of look up at Reuben Bain, so I think he might have a couple inches there. I'm saying
you look up at him.
Yeah. So
you think he's at least 6'2"?
Yeah, 100%. 100. I'm thinking 6'3", 6'4" is pushing him, but I'm thinking 6'3", and his frame is there. He's a real thick guy, and he moves really well. From the times I've watched him at Miami Central, I love his motor. I mean, a lot of people say if Reuben Bain was 6'5", he'd be the number one player in the country, but I feel like he makes
That's
up.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
he makes up with that. He lacks in height with heart, and he has the right mindset. I think out of all the kids I've spoken to, Reuben might be the most level-headed. He understands what's he going to take at that next level and things like that. Honestly, the 2 inches with height might be, hey, can he do this? Can he do that? Honestly, I'll throw that out the window just from speaking to him and knowing what type of kid he is, honestly. And I'd rather take a kid that's 6'3", that has his heart and mindset, over a kid that's 6'6", 280 any day of the week.
Interesting. So you see him as a defensive end at this next level?
100%. I see him flourish. I feel like he can come into Miami, make an impact just off his mindset and what he does on the field. Because like I said, I've spoken with tons of kids, and there's not too many kids like Reuben Bain out there. And every coach, family member I've spoken to says he's the most straightforward kid. He's the first guy in, last one out. I've been to Miami Central practice a few times. I can see it myself. The lights are on. The lights are cutting off. He's still out there getting that extra work. So Reuben Bain, I feel like he's going to be special in Coral Gables for sure.
All right, Steven, you didn't have the benefit of standing next to modern day Reuben Bain like Azubi did last night. Azubi says he's 6'3". I believe him if he's looking up at Reuben. Your thoughts? You poured over hours of film on Reuben yesterday, and after watching that, your thoughts?
Yeah, my initial impression was, yeah, he absolutely 100% looks natural at the defensive end position. His speed, his motor, they really fit in beautifully for the spot that he plays at the defensive end spot. You see him used a lot as a 5 technique. He most of the time, they have him, flying right off the edge. Sometimes he can give a little inside move to pressure the quarterback. That way, you saw him used a pretty decent amount on stunts. And what they really love to do there is, Central would really just try to, give him a chance to get his motor going, pick up a little bit of speed, and then just blow by these slower, bigger guards. And, he also, of course, we have to acknowledge that he's had the advantage that basically all of these kids have had, with the exception of, maybe the IMG kids, in that, every single day at these practices and pretty much in every single game, these kids have been the most talented players on the field. They've got skills that nobody else can match, that no one's on the same level with. And so they are naturally going to look pretty dominant. But what really impressed me about Reuben Bain is he doesn't always have to just rely on his speed and strength that's superior to everyone to make plays. Like on a lot of these run fits, you see him, very smartly knowing when he needs to hold his ground. You can see him at times understanding that rushing the passer and just putting pressure on him isn't always necessarily, the biggest and most important thing. Sometimes he understands that what you really need to do is you just need to contain the pocket. You just need to hold him in the pocket. You just need to, be the contain guy to make sure he doesn't escape. Whenever he's the force on run plays, he knows that he's setting that edge. Whenever he's the chase guy, he's making sure that there's no way that that running back or that quarterback is going to have a cutback lane. He looks like a very smart player who also just happens to have, this hyper gifted skill set that, like Azubi, or like, I can't remember if Azubi said it or if you said it at this point, but, if he was 6'5", he'd be the number 1 player in the country. And, I feel like that's pretty accurate whenever you see the skill set that he has. And he has some of his biggest plays whenever he's able to just get a little bit of a head of steam. He's able to accelerate just a little bit. He's able to kick in that second gear, and he's able to haul butt into the backfield and really cause a little bit of havoc.
All right, so the evaluation video that we did is on the website this morning. You guys can check it out. And I threw a little bit of a curveball out there because I'm not totally bought into what Azubi's saying and what Steven's saying. And I see another option that could come into play here moving forward. And, that is, what about Reuben Bain as a future defensive tackle? What if the other edge guys are simply better because of their physical stature, and you've got this guy that now is 6'2", 6'3", and you can bulk him up to 280 pounds or something like that? I'm not unconvinced that Reuben Bain can't be a defensive tackle in the mold of Warren Sapp, or somebody like that, or that played in Miami and had that incredible quickness on the interior and was an absolute load to handle. Aaron Donald comes to mind as a guy like that. Obviously Reuben's not that at that point yet, but I think when he gets into the weight room and starts eating a college diet, he very quickly could become 260, 270, 280, 290 by year 2 of his college existence. And I'm not totally unconvinced that he may not develop into a defensive tackle down the road. So, Steven, I see you're looking at me like I'm out of my mind right now, but just file that one away. You got to understand, I've been here way too long. I mean, I've been here like literally twice as long as you guys are old right now, which is a lot of years, man. And I've watched a lot of these guys come through this program. I know I look young. You know, I've been, in my later years, I've been staying out of the sun. You know, I'm trying to keep my skin looking somewhat fresh and all that. But I've seen a lot here at Miami. And like Warren Sapp came here as a tight end. I mean, I remember, you know, seeing him come into the program as a tight end, and he ended up being a NFL Hall of Fame defensive tackle. I saw Miami play against Aaron Donald when he was in college, and I remember how much havoc he created, and I see a lot of similarities in projecting what Reuben Bain is going to look like in a couple of years to what he looked like as a college football player. So I'm just trying, like, visualizing this whole thing and how it might play out. And when I look at Reuben Bain, you know, he's different than Nigel E. Kelly. You know, he's different than Greg Rousseau, who came out of this program, or Jalen Phillips that came out of this program recently. He's not those guys. And you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see just where his career goes, where he finds his playing time, where he gets his opportunities. And it might start at defensive end, but I am not totally unconvinced that he may not one day be just a hellacious defensive tackle. We'll see what happens. I will say this, it's going to be fun watching this guy develop, because like you said, Azubi, he's special. The motor he plays with, the desire he plays with, the culture that he brings out of Miami Central into the Hurricane program. This is a big time get for the Hurricanes. And I know Matt gives me a hard time. I say positive things when he's negative and all that on a daily basis on this show, but I'm very bullish on this commit. I think this guy's a heck of a football player. I think he was a guy Miami had to have, and it's a cause for celebration. All right, well, we have a heck of a lot more to talk about here today. I'm not even sure where to go next. Steven, you took a look at the IMG pipeline that Miami is starting to build here with 4 commits from IMG this year. And the characteristic that you pulled out of it for the story that's on the website today was how these guys made each other better going against each other in practice. And it's not too dissimilar to what Zuby was talking to Reuben about, how he's looking forward now that he's in Miami going against Francis in practice every day. Hopefully Miami locks up Samson Okinola, and that's another big-time offensive lineman that these guys have to practice against every day. And that, again, I'm dating myself here, but this is what the Miami football program has been built upon. Quality practicing against quality. And what was the saying, Azubi? Iron sharpens iron?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, like, you know, this is what we're seeing hopefully evolving here for Mario Cristobal and the Canes. But as it pertains to your story today, Steven, you take a look at these IMG guys and how they have developed going against each other every day.
Yeah, and you know, it's just like you said, iron really does sharpen iron. And you look at the kids that are coming out of IMG in this year's class. You know, Jaden Wayne and Francis Malgo are the first 2 that come to mind. You know, the number 11 edge rusher in the country and the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. Well, they have an advantage that, you know, very few other players in the country have had, in that they've been going up against each other in practice, you know, every day for a football season. You know, they've, you can say, you know, Jaden Wayne can say, hey, I've seen this level of talent before. I know the different kind of stuff that these guys can do. I know the different kind of stuff that these guys are capable of. You know, if so-and-so is going to give me X, I'm going to respond with Y. And, you know, I think it really gives a lot of these guys, you know, kind of a leg up in terms of their ability to come in and produce and, you know, or give an immediate impact, because, you know, Francis Malagoa, you know, his skill set in and of itself, he probably is one of those guys who, you know, can be looked at as kind of an immediate contributor. You know, there's probably a handful of offensive linemen in each freshman class that have the ability to come in and make an immediate impact by starting. I think that this year he's probably one of them. And, the same goes for edge rushers on the defensive line. Jaden Wayne, he's got an advantage that Reuben Bain has not had this season. And that is he's gotten to go up against, the number one offensive tackle in this year's recruiting class, over and over and over again. It elevates his game to the point that whenever he steps on the field at Miami and he's going up against, Clemson and Florida State and North Carolina and Wake Forest and, all these different ACC opponents, he's not just a deer in the headlights. It gives you, sort of an ability to kind of calmly say, wait, I've seen this before. I've been going up against this for the better part of a year. So while so many of these kids, you kind of see them need to take maybe a year or two to adjust to the fact that they are no longer the best athlete on the field, and they cannot just rely on their pure athleticism to bail them out whenever they make mistakes with their technique or their read or within the scheme that they're playing, whatever it may be. You see these guys come out and they understand that they're not always going to be the best athlete on the field, because whenever they were at IMG, they probably weren't. And if they were, the talent gap was not nearly as wide between them and the next best athlete on the field as it is for most other kids who just go to, normal high school, who just go to normal high schools that, don't play against teams where literally the entire roster is full of future Division I athletes.
I'm loving the show this morning. There's nobody interrupting anybody. We're all well behaved. We're all respectful. I don't have to sit here and deal with Matt telling Jerry Seinfeld jokes and all that. We're staying to the point. We're giving the people what they want. Hardcore information about their Canes. And I think this is the best Good Morning CaneSport that we have ever had. And I'm really enjoying doing it with you. But we got to take care of some business here. And we're going to start with our first sponsor, Caneswear, your holiday shopping destination for the Canes fan.
Welcome to Caneswear. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
So we're having that commercial break, and I'm watching the monitor, and Steven's stretching, he's yawning, he's rubbing his eyes, he's saying, God dang it, I can't believe Gary made me get up at 5 a.m. to do the show. I'm here celebrating how great this show is, and they're cursing me for making them get up at 5 in the morning to do this show. He's looking at his watch. How quickly can I get back to bed? It was hysterical. I'm going to wake you up right now, Steven, because now it's time to hear from our other sponsor. And wait till you see this commercial. Let's hear from Life Wallet.
Hey sis, want to play one-on-one? What about 3-on-3? Let's do it. You're not Haley. Wait a minute.
Life Wallet user not detected.
I knew it.
Secure your health information and privacy with Life Wallet. Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
I bet you don't want Matt to come back anymore, Steven, after that commercial. Hey, I'll tell you a funny story. I'm watching the Miami women play Florida the other day. I don't know if you guys took the time to watch that game, but I'm sure you don't watch a ton of women's basketball. But I actually watched. It was one of the best sporting events I have seen in a long time. They went into overtime, and Miami had been winning almost the entire game, and then Florida somehow pulls this game out in overtime because Miami screwed up an inbounds play. But Haley Cavender was unbelievable in this game. She scored 20-something points. She was doing literally doing it all and then some. And I felt bad for her sister because her sister, I don't think, got her normal allotment of playing time because of how well that Haley was playing. And when she went in the game, it's like I think she was trying to make things happen too fast, and she really didn't. It was the worst I'd ever seen her play. And I felt kind of bad for her, but it was nice. It's nice to see the adjustment that women's basketball is making in that they're letting these Cavender twins do more. And early in the season, I didn't think they were doing that enough. And Katie Meyer seems to be making that adjustment. And even though they lost to a really good Florida team, I mean, Florida is really good. This was an unbelievable basketball game. And even though they lost in overtime by a point or two to Florida, I think the women's basketball team is taking steps forward. And I encourage you guys, when you get a chance, when they're on TV, check them out. They're really fun to watch. And but anyway, so getting back to the stories on the website, because I got to get back on point because these guys got to go back to bed. I took a look, and it's on the website this morning. And I was really, really proud of the headline that I wrote for this column that I wrote today. 7 days till the early signing day. Miami's pancakes are on the griddle. How about that? As Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal took the home visit to Samson Okinola last night. And listen, that is just a huge, obviously, recruitment that's taken place there. And I have a hard time, guys, in this Samson Okinola recruitment betting against John Ruiz and Life Wallet and what they can bring to the table. And I've heard a little bit of some of the ideas and stuff that are taking place. And man, Samson Okinola, to choose to go to Gainesville over coming to Miami with all the commercial opportunities that would be developed for him in a vibrant international city. I like Miami's chances in this one. Azubi, I see you nodding your head and agreeing with me. So go ahead, you take this one first.
Yeah, so you mentioned John Ruiz, and yesterday I saw him on Twitter. He's super active on Twitter, and I think it's hilarious. He was going back and forth with the Florida State fan. Florida State fan mentioned, Tyler Van Dyke spiking the ball, whatever, leave the pass in the past. But he said, hey, don't be surprised if I'm laughing while, Tyler Van Dyke throws for 300 yards, 5 touchdowns while I'm eating pancakes. So maybe you're looking at the pancake hot show because, Ruiz is a funny guy. So maybe that was a little, awesome. Hey, won't be laughing when we land this guy in the coming days. So hopefully that's kind of the bat sign of Ruiz saying, hey, we got him locked in. He's with Life Wallet. He's ready to get his wires coming through. So hopefully my guy John Ruiz comes through with this one like he has before.
How much do you guys love this whole pancake thing? Look at this. I mean, this is awesome. The pancake honcho. And he's come up with this whole branding thing around pancakes, and pancake manufacturers are sending him pancake batter to promote on social media and talk about. And Florida did a thing with him in a Florida uniform doing pancakes. And part of the recruitment of Samson Okinola is, touching him the right way with pancakes. I can't remember ever seeing anything like this, Stephen. Have you ever seen a recruiting vibe, tactic, whatever, revolving around something like pancakes?
Okay, nothing in recruiting, but are you guys familiar with Bijan Mustardson?
Yes.
Bijan Robinson, the Texas running back, he has a mustard called Bijan Mustardson. And I kid you not, the slogan is, it's like a touchdown in your mouth.
Oh, God. I can't. How did that one make it through the compliance department over in Texas? Woo! That's a wild one. But yeah, so he hasn't, committed yet, at least not publicly. But Cristobal and Mirabal in home last night, I got to think that a lot of headway was made. Mario Cristobal is one of the best closers in college football. I can't imagine that they're letting this kid go anywhere but Miami. I got to believe whatever it takes to get that one done, they will get it done. And I wouldn't be shocked if, he's announcing Thursday. So I'm expecting a Miami announcement on Thursday. You guys got any predictions?
I'm just hoping. I've seen, Mario Cristobal, the closer. I've seen some tweets floating around with his black shoes. So I'm hoping he's wearing those black shoes and he closes out the deal with Samson. So hopefully those loafers came to play last night and he got that deal done. But I'm really excited. I'm happy that they got that in-home visit Tuesday night before kind of get that final impression, that last swing in. So I'm thinking he ends up in Miami and that class just keep getting better and better.
I think Mario Cristobal needs to wear whatever shoes he didn't wear whenever he did Connor Lew's in-home visit. Probably the opposite of those. He's going to need to flip that mojo around. But yeah, I do like his chances of landing Okinola. Samson's been really in on Miami this whole time. Every time that I've spoken with him, he's always mentioned about how Miami is a school that he's considering and how, he really likes a lot of the things that they have going for them. But, he's obviously been kind of playing a little bit hard to get, which I get it. If I was the pancake honcho too, I'd probably be playing hard to get. But unfortunately, I'm not. All I am is Steven Wagner. But I do like the chances that Miami has to land the pancake honcho himself. Put him on the griddle.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a little credit there. I saw you, flashing a little bit of your Matt Shodell at the beginning of that little speech you just gave, and tried to crack a few jokes about Mario's shoes and Connor Lew and tie it all together. But because this is what I do on this show, since you're behaving like Matt, I got to call you out a little bit here on this one. Here's what's going on with Connor Lew. Connor Lew apparently fell in love with some crazy aviation program at Auburn and decided that he wants to study aviation and that's the best thing for him in his future is to go to Auburn and study aviation. Okay, you believe this? He's committed. He commits to Miami in August. Okay, August, September, October, November. We're almost 5 months. We're more than 5 months actually away from when he commits to Miami. And a week before signing day, he wants to go study aviation at Auburn. You believe this? Okay, so maybe this sticks. I'll say it probably does, but I feel pretty confident Miami is going to be all over Connor Lew these next 7 days. They love Connor Lew. He was a big part of what was going on here. And, you talk about all in, dude, Life Wallet will buy this kid an aviation school if he'll come to Miami. Okay. He doesn't need to go to Auburn to study aviation. There's plenty of aviation classes and stuff that can be taken right here in South Florida during the off season and stuff where Connor Lew can get his fix of aviation studies. So I think Miami will stay on this one till signing day. Maybe Auburn hangs on. Maybe, we will see. But I do not see them quitting on Connor Lew. So we'll see what happens there. All right. So as part of that story, we just did take a little capsule look also for you guys of what's going on in the recruiting class. Just to give you a little primer, 7 days to signing day, and hope that you enjoy that. All right. A couple other things on the website today. We take a look at UCF portal target Devontae Brown, who's heading home to the Miami area tomorrow. And we think that he's likely to get on campus this weekend and take a visit. Things aren't looking great with his brother Damari. Gotta be honest. We're hearing a lot of Alabama buzz on that one here right now. But one thing that we learned yesterday was that these two brothers are not necessarily attached to each other. And you'll remember it was just Monday night that one of our CIA agents out on the streets saw them having dinner with Mike Norvell from Florida State at Duffy's in Plantation in Broward County. And it doesn't look like either one of them is going to Florida State, but they don't have to go together. So if Damari goes to Alabama, it is not out of the question that his brother might still consider Miami and Miami might still take him. Decent chance that he visits this weekend. Another story that we must talk about is both Steven and myself yesterday put recruiting prediction machine forecasts in for Tanis Adelaide, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the name. It's a fresh one for us. He is the Texas A&M defensive lineman who is on his official visit to Miami right now. Steven thinks he's going to Miami. I think he's going to Miami. I think this could happen as soon as today. Okay. As he winds up his official visit, I think there is a chance that he commits on the spot to the Miami Hurricanes. Steven, you've spoken to him extensively. Your thoughts on his recruitment and what might happen here in the near term?
Yeah, this is a kid who really likes Miami a lot. Some of the other programs that were in the running for him that he was also considering were USC, Cal, and Michigan State. He's hosted Cal for an in-home visit. He's taken an official visit to Michigan State, and he is taking, I believe he's still taking his official visit to Miami right now. And then as soon as he finishes up his official visit with Miami, he's going to fly back out to Cal to go on an official visit there up at Berkeley. And, the thing that stuck out the most to me was how much he kept iterating, how much of a chance he thinks Miami really has here. And he said, they reached out to him and offered him 2 days after he entered the portal, and he was at an official visit at Michigan State the other week, and he had his phone off and he wasn't really answering, a lot of calls or texts or anything. And he said, he kind of thought that maybe, Miami's coaches started thinking, oh, we don't have a chance with this guy. He's not really picking up or anything like that. Well, after his visit to Michigan State, he talked to Miami's coaches again and said, no, guys, you do have a chance. And he kind of emphasized how much of a chance they really had. And he even said, they have a better chance than another school that he's considering that has a better record than Miami. Well, the only school he's considering that had a better record than Miami was USC. So USC, we can go ahead and scratch that one off. Another school in Cal, Cal is making a pretty hard push for him. They want him pretty bad, but you want Mario Cristobal against Justin Wilcox in a recruiting battle? Seriously? The guy who just kicked his butt in recruiting at Oregon, just up the road from Cal for the last couple of years. No, thank you. I will take Mario Cristobal every single day in that recruiting battle. And then the only other man out there is Mel Tucker, who has had, some pretty remarkable success as a recruiter. He's a talented coach. He's a proven winner. He won a New Year's Six Bowl his second year at Michigan State. Obviously, they're coming off of a less than fantastic season where they actually finished with the same record as Miami. But again, Mario Cristobal and Mel Tucker in a recruiting battle against each other, I'll definitely take Cristobal. And one of the reasons why I'll take Cristobal is because after his visit to Michigan State, Adelaide said, hey, Miami, you still do have a chance here. And if you're leaving that door open and you're saying you're giving Cristobal a chance, you get in the same room as Cristobal, good luck. I like your chances of landing at Miami unless there's, some divine reason that's pulling you to another school.
Yeah, I seriously think that that something could pop here sooner rather than later. I really do, and I would be surprised if he leaves town and is not committed to Miami. So, Azubi, when you're taking a look at this recruiting class here as we head into the final days of this recruiting cycle, you've obviously had a front row seat for it. How do you feel about how this is coming together?
I feel like it's coming together great towards the end. I feel like something I spoke with Bain was how the Miami staff said, hey, once you commit, I feel like the pieces are going to start falling together. And I feel like that might come true, honestly, because with Bain, they mentioned we need that big guy for Miami. He's a 3-time state champ, potentially going to win 4 high school, that big South Florida guy to say, hey, I'm staying here. Let's all stay here. He mentioned to me how he wants to keep more South Florida guys home as well. I know Miami just got Chris Johnson Jr. So the ball's rolling for Miami. I hopefully come Thursday, they add another guy in Samson, and that snowball just keeps getting bigger and bigger down the hill. And Miami ends on the 21st with the top 5 class.
Time for Mario to close, man. Did you guys see it? I got to show you guys. You guys will love this. Wait a minute. Let me cue this thing up. Check this out. Dude, like somebody posted that on our message board. Like, that is an awesome piece of work. Zuby, you're a millennial. You guys grew up on video games and stuff. Could you create something like that? I mean, that was unbelievable.
I think the real magic behind it is the loafers. I'm telling you, once Mario breaks out those black loafers, things start happening that we can't explain. So if Mario sees this, he might not see it. If I'll buy you a new pair of loafers for Christmas, just keep wearing them, man. Just keep them things going.
That's that. I just thought that video was awesome. All right, that is going to do it. It's time for the young guys to go back to bed. That's going to do it for Good Morning CaneSport for this morning. We thank you so much for starting your day out with us. Hope you have enjoyed the show without the constant, obnoxious interruptions of Matt Shodell, without the stupid jokes that we have to sit through every single day as we try to discuss the news of the day. And we had a very productive, 40 minutes this morning. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this show, like our YouTube channel, hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. It helps us with the algorithms. I don't know that they're sitting back there pushing buttons at YouTube. Helps us grow our audience and bring this show to more people. And if you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please make sure you take advantage of our $10 introductory special that will take you to the start of next football season and take you through signing day next week so that you can read all the fantastic stories that these two guys are writing every single day. So for Stephen Wagner and Azubi Charles, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you once again, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow.